But a lot of people start thinking about health. They start thinking about, okay, I need to start moving, which is natural, and no life is existing if it's not moving. So movement is very important. But there are several other keys that influence you much, much more and have more impact, actually. And if you don't address them, the movement in terms of moving your body can be maybe bad for you.
How do entrepreneurs, business owners, and experts influence themselves, their clients, and teams to maximize profitability, efficiency, and create lasting impact? How do they simplify life and business and yet still achieve more? What's the one thing separating the mediocre from the best? This podcast will give you the answers and reveal the secret strengths and the not so easy to admit flaws of the elite. My name is Satori Matteo, and welcome to the Halfass to Badass podcast.
Okay, welcome Magnus to this new episode of Halfass to Badass. I'm curious to know, who taught you about health?
Thank you very much for having me. Yes. Who taught me about health? I would say that the whole environment around me as a kid taught me somehow, or gave me the possibility. And for sure, my parents and their parents, actually, how they treated themselves and how they talked about health and so on. After all these years of educating myself in the area, I know for sure that several things that I learned and that I did was maybe not the best health choices, but overall, I would say most of my learnings and how I became what I am today is based on the environment that I was put in, actually, and then afterwards I put myself in.
Nice. So when you think about your health and you think about the choices that you made in the past and present, like, who influenced you the most around health? Like, what did they teach you? What were you taught around health?
I mean, I was a pretty active kid. I was not like today, a lot sitting inside, and I'm so old that the computers and stuff wasn't the thing. We were outside, we were playing. I was like, my mom called me for dinner and that's it. I was outside the rest of the time. We were bicycling, we were running to school and so on, or not to driving. And then where I was raised, first I was born in Sweden, but I left Sweden as I was 6 years old, and then I were in Germany, actually, and we moved to a place which were like a new build area, so it was a lot of free space around us, and on just 200 meters from me there was a huge sporting area with like football, soccer places, and track and fields and tennis and everything. So we were outside all the time and we were using our bodies and so on. And there, I mean, I came into all these. I started with track and fields and did that for a long time. And then afterwards, I went to the volleyball because I was growing, getting tall. And so sports was always in my life, and the teachers around me in school and the trainers and so on, they influenced me for sure. Actually, my parents were not super active. We were going to skiing and so on, but dad was running and so on, but no one of them was like a top athlete or something. So this was something inside of me, probably. And then later on, when I started to study, I went to sports school and studied sports science. And there, for sure, that the choice to go there was actually because I didn't want to sit in an office. I wanted to be like moving. So I found this and I thought this is the thing I want to do. And I specialized on not teacher, first of all, but more like going to rehabilitation and prevention with the help of sports. So already there I found that direction. And for sure, the teachers around me there, I mean, I didn't choose them, they were there, but they influenced me for sure. And then later on, when I became a doctor of naprapathy, I started to look around much more and then I think the one that made me become who I am today in terms of holistic approach to health is Paul Chek. It's an American guy who is a very early pioneer in holistic health, and he first started into how to turn me around and make me a better me, and then I went on teaching others to become the same.
Right, that's interesting. I mean, and it's fascinating what you're saying today, because today, like, yeah, most around the world, people, obviously kids, they're very sedentary. They sit around, and probably adults too. I think the whole era of technology probably changed us a lot, like as far as the movement or lack of movement and how we spend our time and our bodies. You know, well, obviously you probably heard, you heard the whole, you know, people sit, you know, the whole body structure is changing. People sitting with their iPhones and iPads and all the technology, like changing our structure today, right?
Yeah.
Like hunchbacks, and what do you call this, like the neck being forward. And
yeah, that's what I'm working with every day today, both to treat but also to teach. And I have, as you know, like several keys that I have trying to put together over now. I'm close to 20 years in the business of helping people to move and eat and live better lives. And these keys are built on all these philosophies, actually. And the funny thing is, we talk about movement and people don't move or move the wrong way and so on. But that's actually key number 8 in terms of hierarchy. So that's the one that is has the least impact, actually. But a lot of people start thinking about health. They start thinking about, okay, I need to start moving, which is natural, and no life is existing if it's not moving. So movement is very important. But there are several other keys that influence you much, much more and have more impact, actually. And if you don't address them, the movement in terms of moving your body can be maybe bad for you.
Right. That's interesting. I'd love to know what the keys are. And I'm curious to know, before we go to get actually into the keys, I'd love to know, like, what inspired you to dedicate your life to health and wellness, and what does it mean to you? What is health to you?
Yeah, I mean, this is a process that has been growing for several years, and as I said before, my first instinct was, I don't want to sit down. I want to sit in the office. I want to work with people. I'm not like the guy who wants to sit and just look into a screen or something, or doing some kind of science or so. So I wanted to interact with people, and that was an inspiration, because then the humans around me inspired me to grow and to learn. And every time I became like, come to an obstacle and thought, okay, how can I solve this now? Then that was an inspiration to learn and to grow. So I decided that I needed at least once a year, twice a year, I need to do another education. I need to put another tool into my toolkit to make this toolkit as complete as possible. And I'm still doing it. So I won't stop educating myself. And all these people inspired me, because everyone, there's a saying that there are many ways to Rome, and there's not one way for the perfect health. There's close to millions of ways, because we are so many humans, and everyone has his unique or her unique way. So giving them the tools, because I mean, you find out when you work with health that you are a tool. And people come to you because they want to use you, or they need you to facilitate or to come over obstacles, because they don't have the knowledge. I mean, we don't learn this in school, for example. A lot of these things are not taught, should be, right, in my opinion, but they're not taught. So, and even if you haven't learned them or didn't get them from your parents or your surrounding, then it's not there. So this is my biggest inspirations, why I'm still keep on growing. That's because I want to help as many people as possible. And this being here is a way to help more people, hopefully.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. So you said that movement was like a key number 8, you said, right?
Yeah.
So what is number 1?
That's love, actually. And put in the right format, love to yourself, to your human beings around you, and actually putting people not higher or lower, but finding this balance. I know you talk a lot about that too, and balance is one of my favorite words. These keys are actually about balancing all these keys. So if for example you have a relationship and you are not complete with yourself in terms of self-love or any kind of issues that people have, this obstacle will come up to the surface, and one day when you have a relationship, because if you're not in balance with that, it will be an unbalance, which creates some kind of problem, and that influences everything. I sometimes talk about, if you have kids, for example, and you take care of all your keys, every one of these keys is in balance, but suddenly your child doesn't feel so good, all these keys erupt. It's not worth anything because you feel bad then. Every parent can probably feel that. So if your kids are feeling bad or something happens to them, it doesn't matter how good you are physically, if you don't have this emotional balance, it will erupt and create bad health.
Right. I'm curious. So considering that with health, how do you influence, knowing that you're dedicated to health, dedicated to wellness? How do you, as a husband, as a father, how do you influence your family around health?
I think the only way you can do it is to be the best you. So to put effort into yourself. That's very important, I think, because, and I have to tell it myself every day when I help people, because I am not, like, if I say I'm a doctor, I'm not, or a healer, I am not healing anyone. I'm just the tool so they can heal. So if I want to have an impact on someone, I need to work out myself. I need to work with these keys all the day long. The better I get, the better everyone around me can take from me or get, I would say. So the work on myself is the best tool to help everyone around me.
And that's interesting you say that, because when you work on yourself, because I usually talk about communication, and obviously there's micro communication and expansion and all kinds of levels of communication. I look at, you have you in the center, and then you have next level, next level, next level, and it keeps expanding. And so I think of influence as the ability to be able to move the thoughts, feelings, and actions of either yourself or other people. So what I'm hearing you say is that you need to mobilize, move, you influence your thoughts and your feelings and your actions, your habits, to be able to effectively influence the people around you.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so that's interesting. So having a message around health, like you have, and you are an entrepreneur, and you are working to grow your message, to grow your business, to expand and reach more people. What do you see? What do you see as the biggest challenge around being an entrepreneur, having a message, standing for something? Because a lot of entrepreneurs are listening and watching Halfass to Badass, because we're all going through different challenges, different struggles. So when you think about your ability to, as an entrepreneur, having an important message, what do you see as the biggest resistance or struggle that you bump into when it comes to building your brand, building a message, bringing your message to the world?
I would say the biggest resistance is that, it's the saying, if you have a good health, you can handle everything else. But if you don't have your health, there is nothing more important than getting your health back. You know? And I have that every day, because normally I don't get super healthy people coming in to the clinic, because they wouldn't normally don't look for me. You know? But when they look for me, they have an issue. It's like people coming into the clinic and say, how do you do, Magnus? I'm great, but I won't put the question back because I know something is wrong with you. That's why you're here. Yeah? So the biggest obstacle task, I would say, is knowledge. People need more education, need more knowledge about these keys and about how they influence your well-being. Because there's no one who wants to be a customer in the hospital or in the health apparatus. No one wants to be a customer there. No one wants to be unhealthy.
Do you think we have received the wrong information? Have we been miseducated around health?
Absolutely. There is a lot of financial interest today in this area. And if we would look at this in a more holistic approach, we would have to change a lot. The whole educational apparatus. For example, if you look at the conventional normal medical doctor, look at their education. They have very, very few hours of education around food, about all these things that influence your body. They have, most of the time they learn about symptoms, about pharmaceutics, about whatever, but it's not about guiding people back to health. So it's not their fault that we have a health apparatus that can't make people healthy. There are a lot of people out there like me who are working with the cause, but the conventional healthcare, it's treating symptoms. So everyone somehow understands this, and has experienced it probably. The problem is your tax money, your tax dollar is going to the wrong side. If you want to be and keep yourself healthy and invest, you have to invest in yourself today, which is the best insurance actually for not being a customer on the other side.
Right.
So knowledge, I would say, short answer to your question, is the biggest obstacle for me, and to people understand. And that's what I'm doing every day. I'm actually teaching people. I'm talking more than I'm actually doing physically sometimes.
So people are misinformed, they're miseducated around their health, around well-being, and pop a pill, just get a quick fix, something that's going to just help them for the moment, and they're being bombarded by messages, and especially maybe it's big in Sweden too, or getting bigger, but especially in the US, you have commercial after commercial after commercial, just promoting. I mean, they basically own the media. You see every commercial is all about popping this pill or that pill, or doing something to kill the symptom.
It's very difficult for the regular person to try to differentiate. Is this for real? Do they really want to help me? But I have like a thumb rule. So the more advertisement you see for a product, probably less good it is, because they need so much advertisement. If you have a good product, you don't need to advertise, because it's mouth to mouth. People are satisfied, they get results, and they forward that message. But if you have something that needs to be pushed all the time, you have to look a second time, I would guess.
Yeah, that's interesting. I'm curious to know, when you think about health, and you think about the impact that you want to have in the world around health, what would you say, if you were to share with us the top 3 keys that would have the biggest impact? What would you say will be the thing that people could do first, do second, do third, to truly have the biggest impact on their health, on their well-being, on their family's well-being?
Yeah, it's a good question. And I would say, as I said here before, you need to start it yourself. You can't help anyone else if you're not healthy yourself. So you need to turn inside and ask yourself, do I want to have it like I have it today? If you have symptoms today, for example, or if you have some kind of level of athletic performance or whatever, and you're satisfied there, okay, all good. But if you want to change something, you need to do something differently. You can't think yourself healthy, maybe, but most people need to do something physically, need to do some changes in their lives. And my experience is that there's not the big changes that is needed. Sometimes very, very small things that you need to change that has the big impact. So, and sometimes you need to take help there to understand what does give me most impact here, what influences me most. So start with yourself, I would say. Educate yourself. You are your best doctor. There's no one else that understands you better than yourself, but you need to start listening. So looking inside, educate yourself, and then be a good example with the new way of living. Then everyone else, then you have an impact on your surroundings, especially if you have kids. You need, that's the most important of everything. If you look forward and think world, holistic, everyone, if we don't teach our children about the right things and give them the tools, not only knowledge, but actually learn or teach them to feel, okay, this is a symptom now, what's the cause? And you can't do that if you don't have the knowledge. So you have to start it with yourself, then teach it to your children. So then we have a great future.
Right. So being able to listen, trust, to be able to have the reflection, paying attention, being aware of what's really going on.
Yes, because as you said, there's so much information coming from outside, but there is no doctor, there is no other human being on the earth that can help you or heal you, because you have everything inside. You have to provide, for sure, the building stones, but everything else is inside. There's a blueprint. The body knows exactly how it wants it to have it. But you need to give them, or give your body the chance, actually.
Can you give I'm curious to know, what is an example of when your body was not in working properly, and you turned some health challenge around? What did you do? Like, what was the problem, and how did you change it? How did you turn it around?
Yeah, one thing that is very, very common today is stomach problems. It can be like a very low grade inflammation or toxicity in worst case, and you actually feel it, that okay, when I eat this, it's not bad, but it's not great. So when you eat, why do you eat? The question you have to ask yourself: why do you eat? Because you need energy. If you feel tired, if you feel bad after eating something, that gives you some kind of information. So, and when I was very super active as a volleyball player, I was eating and training and doing all the wrong times. I was like eating late at night, and I had no clue actually then what to eat and when to eat and so on, but just kept putting energy, and I could eat everything because I was moving so much. If I would have known what I know today about everything, would it have been a different game, but it doesn't matter. I was part of a study actually from the university there, where we played around with probiotics and I excluded some stuff, and that changed me for a short period. I didn't actually think so much about it, but the study results just showed very, very good that I was eating the wrong stuff. I was eating too much carbs. I was putting in the wrong stuff. And then now, very few months ago, I actually did my first blood work on my immune system, how several over 90 different foods how they impacted me. And this is real biohacking then. But it showed that my intestines and my body, my immune system actually worked against me, or I put in stuff that worked against me. Yeah? So changing that changed my energy levels to a totally other game. I was much more energy all the time. I slept better. Everything went better actually. Yeah, I measured my arteries in terms of how old or how elastic they were, and just in 30 days I went from 39 years in age to 25.
Wow.
Just by changing food habits and what I put into my system.
So what did you change? And is it the same for everyone?
As I said, it's not the same for everyone, but what I did, I excluded most of that stuff that the blood work showed, and that for me was milk products and all kinds of carbs, gluten, especially gluten. That what is maybe the most important. I went to a more paleo diet, so I tried to avoid most carbs, and that I have felt that for a long time. But I'm not a full carnivore guy. I need some kind of carb part in my food regime, but vegetables, great stuff, and then a good protein source and good fats, very important, has changed a lot. Actually, the swelling went away. I thought, like, why am I pregnant? What is going on? Still working out several days a week and trying to keep me healthy. Still was this swelling going on, and that was the thing that needed to change. And I mean, I was not sick. I felt well, I thought, but I could feel much better. That's why my whole health trip is about a better me. How good can I get? And not everyone can or want to do that. But I thought to myself, why not? I have one life. Why not live it full out and see what this body can give me?
Yeah, tell us about that. Tell me what is the health trip about? Tell us about the health trip.
It's actually, I mean, it's very egoistic. It's about me. It's about getting as good and as healthy as I can. And I'm getting close to 50 now, and I mean, I want to see how in this age. I mean, if you're 25, you're like, you can do everything. But when you're getting closer to 50, I thought, okay, as a man, what do I need to look at to optimize myself? And then as a health practitioner and then as a holistic lifestyle coach, I mean, I wanted to prove to myself, but afterwards to everyone else, that my models, my keys actually give results. I have never done that before in these 20 years. And I thought this is a good idea to actually have an impact. And I cannot force anyone to do what I say they should do. But if I show them, as I said at the beginning, I do my work. If you want to follow, you can do it. Yeah. So that's the reason for this whole 5 months of changing myself or becoming a better me, because the idea is not to go back to where I started. I won't go back to where I started. I'm not putting in 5 months of my life and then throwing it out the window again. No, I want to keep it there. And that's also one of the ideas with this. I want to find this balance. Where can I have the balance in between how much do I need to put in and I get the most out of it? You know?
Yes.
So, because that's in the end, that's what people are probably will be able to do. A very few percentage will do this whole thing and become the marathon runner or something. Now, if they're normally sitting on their couch or sofa, they're not becoming a marathon runner, but they can maybe get a better coronary health or lung capacity or stomach health, so they don't die in cancer or anything else too early.
I love that. Yeah. I love that. It's great. And I think it's important, so important, because a lot of times, people don't have a reason. They don't feel like they don't understand. Why am I doing this? I don't want to do that, and they don't see, because they're not, that's why, I always come back to the conversation around habits, and also around your values, because your values be a reflection of your values, meaning your habits you will do things that are in alignment with your values. Yeah. But if you don't understand why you're doing something, or how your values are being impacted, because some people, they want to run a marathon. Some people, and we have a common friend, right, that loves bicycling, right, and he loves bicycling, and that he lives and dies for getting on his bike. And I biked a lot in my life, but that's not part of my value system of biking. Like, if I was to spend 3 hours, I wouldn't spend those biking, but for someone else it is, and for someone else it's something totally different. I could take a walk for 2 hours, and that would be very fulfilling. So we all have different things, but it's to understand, like, what are those things that actually inspires us to take action. And so I'm excited to know and track and follow your results around your health trip, on your path to becoming a better you. So if somebody would start today and look at, okay, what is the first thing I can do to become a better me, and an elevated version of myself, and what would be the reason, like, to do that? I mean, I think the main people that get stuck in their mind and in their head about, why am I doing this? And I remember just one guy, he was trying to stop smoking, and for years, he kept saying, I'm going to stop smoking, but he never did. And one morning, his daughter came out crying, and he was like wondering, like, why are you crying, honey? What's wrong? What happened? Why are you crying? And she came out to him, and he said, started crying. She said, I want you to be there for me when I get married. And that was it for him. Like, that was like the thing that catapulted him to stop smoking. Yeah. Like, seeing his daughter, thinking that her father would die if he kept smoking.
Exactly. He dropped that cigarette.
Yeah. So anyways, it's very interesting, and I'm curious to know, obviously this podcast, is half-ass to badass. What do you see as being the difference between a half-ass and a badass? What's your definition of a half-ass or badass?
I mean, I think the half-ass in terms of health is the one who just accepts the symptoms. Because tell yourself, or ask yourself the question, why should I run around and live my half? Why not full? Why not feel the best I can every day? Because, as I said in the beginning, if you don't have your health, everything else in life, doesn't matter if you have a lot of money, doesn't matter if you have the best wife or man in your life, or whatever, or the best kids, or live in the best house, or whatever, in the best country. Doesn't matter if you don't. I got to know a man. He had like 70 companies. He had so much money. He was coming on with his Bentley, and on and on and on. But he didn't have his health. He came to me because he had like serious tinnitus, and he had some serious problems. Yeah. And then 1.5 years later, he didn't do the changes, and he died on his yacht. Yeah. Was worth nothing. He was in his best part of his life, maybe. So the half-ass is the one who ignores, who puts the stripe over the oil lamp in your car when your motor starts telling you, okay, something's wrong, and you're like, I don't see that, just keep on driving. Yeah, that's a half-ass. The badass is the one who takes control of their own life and their health in this case, and asks the question, the most important question, which a doctor close to never asks, and that is, why? Why do you have high blood pressure? Why do you feel stressed? Why does your skin look like it looks like? Why is your eyesight going worse or whatever? There's so many, because your body tells you all the time, but most people don't listen because they haven't learned about how to listen. They don't understand the symptoms, the signal, the warning lamp, whatever. We have learned that the lamp on the car means I need to drive to the next service station fast as hell, because if this motor cracks down, I have to change the whole car. Huh?
Right.
But
that's interesting to say that. It's like communication, right? Your body's
communication. Exactly. Yeah. All the time, actually. And our brain has learned to take a lot of that stuff away. A lot of people can handle a lot of pain, for example. And then if you're getting a little older, because most people get it when they are like surpassed 30 or 40, then the symptoms are coming. And it's not because you're older. It's because you have accumulated maybe bad habits or something, but you need to change. Everyone can change. You can get a bodybuilder with 80 if you want. You can get your best yourself whenever, but you need to start listening and educate yourself if you don't have the tools. And if you don't have the time, then you have to consult someone that has the tools. They can help you facilitate and give you fast the solutions, but you have to do the work. There's no one else out there, as I said, who can heal you, can fix you, can make you better. It doesn't work like in the car factory, in car service. It's no one else can change your tires. You need to fix the cause.
Yeah.
And that's an ongoing process. I mean, this body is, we are changing millions of cells, for example, every second. But what do you change? What do you put in? What do you have as material, as building material? For example, when we talk about food, you become what you eat. That's actually what we're talking about. And also in your area, you become what you think.
Yes. So true. So cool. So tell me, if somebody wants to get to know more about your work and how you work, how can they get in touch with you? How can they get to learn about your work?
I'm based in Sweden right now, and the homepage and stuff are not in English yet, but they will come. But you can go to mhalive.com, and there you can find my contact information. Just send me an email, and then we have a chat.
Beautiful. mhalive.com.
Yes.
Awesome. Thanks for being here. I appreciate it. Appreciate you. And thanks for taking the time to share these insights and what has influenced your life around health.
Thank you very much.
Talk to you soon.
Know someone who needs a shift in focus? Share this and be part of inspiring new habits and re-engage existing habits that work.